Hey guys, and welcome back to Pro Speed Baseball. Now today I'm going to share with you one simple technique, just one, that's going to help you gain bat speed the very first time you go out to try it. And I'm also going to share with you a drill to where you can ingrain this technique in your swing. Let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, so this technique that we're going to talk about today has to do with our lead arm, our lead hand. So for a right-hander, that's going to be our left arm. If we're a left-hander, that's going to be our right arm. And the technique is we want to make sure that this lead arm stays very, very long, not straight, very long throughout our transition into the ball. So from the end of our load stride, this lead arm wants to stay very, very long as we're going into bat lag, contact, straight arm release, and then all the way into the follow-through, okay? Follow-through is not really worried about too much because, again, we don't want to worry too much about the follow-through. We want to make sure we got a lot of speed through the zone. And that's why we want to have a leveraged lead arm, is because out of sheer physics, that's going to give us our best, that's going to give us our most amount of room to build up speed. So just as far as just simple physics are concerned, if our lever is longer, so that our lead arm, we can think of our lead arm as a lever, if it's longer, then the end of that lever can go faster. So if I have a shorter lever, the end's not going to go very fast. So you can imagine swinging a bat from the end of the bat, we can get lots of speed from swinging the bat from the end of the bat, and then if I were to choke up here, I'm not going to be able to get nearly as much speed because I don't have as much leverage. And that's exactly what we want the lead arm to act as. We want it to act as leverage in the swing. Now, the huge power leak and the huge bat speed leak that comes from not using this technique is when we get into the transition. So we're in the end of the load stride, when we get in this transition, and the angle in our lead arm between our elbow gets sharper as we're going to the ball. So if at any point during the swing this lead arm and our elbow bends at any point as our hands are going to the ball, we're effectively going to miss out on potential bat speed. And that's just a sheer physics explanation, is if our hands are going to the ball and this arm is bending, we are shortening our lever, which in fact decreases the amount of speed we can create. So the way that we're going to tackle ingraining this into our swing is, first we need to understand the reasons why we bend our elbow in the swing. Now the first reason is very obvious. It's something maybe you were taught when you were younger, or you did it when you were younger, or you've done it for a long time and you haven't really noticed you were doing it, nobody told you it was wrong, anything like that, and it's just sheerly muscle memory at this point. And one of the big things I heard is, staying inside the ball, where you want your hands to come inside the ball. I've even heard some coaches talk about getting these hands in close to the body and then going to the ball from there. You want the hands being tight into the body. Well, if we understand simple biomechanics, and if we remember from the hands to the ball videos and that kind of stuff, if our hand is moving away from our body, so is our elbow. If my hand is moving in towards my body, so is my elbow. My hand's going out, or my elbow's going out with my hand and back in towards my body with my hand. So if I keep my hands in closer to my body, my elbows have to bend, and if we know now, if we shorten our lever and my hands are close to the body, I'm going to be losing bat speed. So we know right there that if our hands are close to our body, we're losing bat speed because we have to bend our elbow, and this lead arm is not leveraged. So if you're someone who just does this automatically, then we have a progressive drill that we're going to show you here at the end of this video that's going to help you tackle that out. Now the other big reason I see for this lead elbow breaking down has also something to do with the hands to the ball video. If we remember from that hands to the ball that we want from the end of our load stride, we want both of our physical hands to go to the ball. We want our hands to get as close to that ball as we possibly can so that we can maximize the leverage, maximize our bat lag and release, so we can maximize our speed. If our hands are going out towards the ball versus going in towards our body, that lead arm is going to be lengthening, which is going to maximize our speed and go into the ball. So what I see a lot, especially some of my newer students, when their hands are going towards the ball, let me go ahead and show you from down the line here. Okay, so what I'll see is they'll go from the end of the load stride, and they'll get their hands going towards the ball very well. They have this nice long leveraged arm, and then they don't trust keeping their hands going out towards the ball, and so they will bend the elbow in an effort to try to get the barrel back into it. They'll still end up hitting it kind of off the end of the bat because they're bending their elbow, but when you're taking your hands to the ball and you want to create that leveraged lead arm and get all that speed, you have to continue your hands going out to the ball so that this arm stays leveraged. It has to continue to move away from the body. As soon as the hands start moving in this way, before we get into our release, before we release the bat, the elbow has to bend, and when we bend the elbow, we lose speed. So keep that in mind as we go over the drill here, is that you have to continue to let your hands go out towards the physical ball. So I know, again, from some slow motion videos, you'll see big leaguers bend the elbow, and I want to make sure I address this before we get into the drill. So let's go ahead and just take another inside pitch. So I'll set up here for an inside pitch, for example, and let's say I make a perfect swing on this ball. Perfect swing, I'm going to have a long leveraged lead arm. I'm going to get lots of bat speed, and I'm going to catch it flush. So if I go here and I'm catching this ball inside and I take my hands out to the ball and I have this long leveraged arm and I have good bat lag, and then I release that bat lag and right onto the sweet spot into my straight arm release, and I finish, I'm going to hit that ball a very long ways with maximum speed. That's a perfect situation. Now let's say I take that same pitch and I let that ball get a little too deep and I'm late on it. So I'll take a little step forward here, the same pitch in the same pitch location, but now it's deeper up on me. Well, if I try to do that same swing and take my hands all the way out to that ball, I'm going to get jammed and this ball is going to get hit off the inside part of my bat. Now, in order for me to get the barrel on the bat, which you'll see in some of these big league slow motion videos, we can compensate by bending the elbow. So if I'm going here and I've got my hands going to the ball and I know I'm beat, if I bend my elbow, now I can pull the face of the bat back onto the ball, and now I can get the sweet spot of the bat on the ball if I bend my elbow. But we know now if we bend the elbow, we're going to lose bat speed, and if we know that we're going to lose bat speed, we are obviously compensating to get to contact. So if you see some of these big league guys who, most of them have a very long leveraged lead arm and are very good at it, but they will compensate from time to time. I've done it. I'm sure you guys out there have done it probably without thinking about it. You'll compensate and bend that elbow and get it out there. Because baseball is an imperfect thing. We can't make a perfect swing every time, but that's definitely not the swing we should be striving for. We should be striving for a long leveraged lead arm, and this is the drill we're going to do that. So what I want us to start off with, especially with you guys who are having trouble with this, and you're used to bending that elbow a lot, we're going to start this first progression off. We're going to do the whole progression from the load stride swing with the load stride swing drill. And the first progression, we're going to do it with a dead straight arm, okay? So we're going to load straight here. We're just going to lock this arm out. And what we're going to do is we're going to make some swings with this locked out arm, keeping it locked the entire time. This is going to help us start to get used to swinging the bat with a long lead arms. Because if we're used to bending the elbow to swing, it's going to feel a lot different. And even if you feel, even guys, when they try this the first time, you'll see that you'll still try to break down a little bit to hit this ball. So really, when you're doing this, make sure you get your repetitions in. We're going to start off with 100 repetitions in with a straight arm, just so we can start getting used to swinging with the front arm. Don't count that rep unless your arm stays straight through the entire swing. So let's go ahead and do one right here. We're going to load stride. We're going to lock that arm out in about 25%. We're going to keep this arm nice and straight as we're going through the swing. So you see there, I kept a nice straight arm. Okay, go ahead and show you one here from down the line. So we're going to load stride here, lock this arm out, and make a swing through the ball, keeping that arm dead straight the whole time. That's going to help you start to get used to hitting that ball with a long lead arm. And making sure your hands are staying relaxed, your hands are going out to the ball, and you should start feeling a little bit of speed there where you probably wouldn't feel it before. Now, after you get those 100 repetitions in, you start getting comfortable with that long lead arm, now we're going to hit our progressions with the leveraged lead arm done properly. Now, if we do this, if we get into our pro setup properly and we get into our speed load and pro stride properly, our hands are going to be back behind our shoulder from the face on view. We know that from the speed load checkpoint video. Now, if we do this, we should have a very long leveraged lead arm with a slight amount of bend in our lead arm. What we're going to do from there is we're going to mentally put this arm in a cast or in a statue, and however you want to feel like this arm is going to stay right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this slightly bent arm to the ball. Just like we took that straight arm to the ball, we're going to take the slightly bent arm to the ball. Make sure you're checking yourself on camera, and if you see this elbow bend and increase in angle at all, don't count your repetition. Make sure that you get to the end of the load stride, this arm's nice and leveraged, and that leveraged arm stays, and this arm never bends through contact and in your straight arm release. That's the only checkpoint you're looking for right there, that this elbow never bends or increases in angle. So we're going to start off at 25%. We're going to load stride, put this arm in a cast, and make swings, making sure our hands are continuing out to the ball. Again, if we're in our perfect tee setup, we can let those hands go all the way out to the ball, and we're going to be in the perfect spot to get the barrel on it every time, okay? I'll show you again right here from down the line. We're going to load stride here, arms in a cast. Okay, 25%. All the good stuff holding your finish. Checking yourself on camera. I'll show you the slow motion playback right here. The angle in the elbow is never going to increase throughout the whole swing. Guys, we got 100 repetitions with the straight arm at 25%, and then we got 100 repetitions in with the lead arm in the cast drill at 25%. Then we're going to go through another 100 repetitions in at 50%, 75%, and game speed. Okay, I'll go ahead and show you one more here at 50%. Okay, we're going to load stride. Lead arm is in a cast. Okay, 50% swings. Another 100 at 50%, another 100 at 75%, another 100 at game speed. We're not counting those repetitions if that elbow bends at all. Guys, if you get these repetitions in and you make sure they're perfect, you're going to feel a lot of more effortless power. You're going to get a lot more speed with a lot less effort. When you have less effort in your speed, your consistency goes up, and so does your overall hitting. So if we do all this, your speed goes up and your consistency goes up, all with this one technique. So make sure you get those repetitions in, get this technique down, and we'll see you guys in the next lesson. Now, if you haven't already, head over to prospeedbaseball.com and check out our free lessons and our online coaching program where you can work one-on-one with me as your own personal instructor through unlimited video analysis. And stay tuned for a bonus clip at the end of this video of one of our membership lessons from the website. Thanks again for watching. Good luck with your swings, good luck with your games, and we'll see you guys soon. These are all symptoms to improper sequencing in the swing and not getting the right amount of extension at the right time, or where we want to make contact with the ball in relationship to where we want to be extended after contact. And that's the key one. We do want to be extended after contact. Just before full release is when we're going to get maximum velocity on that object. So in a baseball swing, so if we go into contact and we make contact and then we have full release, then we're going to be maximizing our speed into the ball. So that all you have to do is set up the drill properly, make swings, and you're going to start syncing up your swing right away. And that's exactly what this drill is going to do. It's going to help us learn the proper motions to hit the ball correctly. So if I put a digital tee here where we'd want to make contact with the ball, ideally when we're practicing off the tee or we're hitting in the game, we're going to load stride here. You're going to see me get into contact here, and then if I'm still swinging out to this ball in front of me,